Lesson of the Logos and Letters. My name is Liam, and so we have just looked at the ideas of contraries and what are just opposites, okay? And if you are still unsure about contraries and how they operate and how to identify them, how to test them, do not worry. They get a very thorough treatment later on in the book, quite soon as well. And the same for opposites and other kinds of relatives. Just be a little bit patient for that. You don't need to know all of that right now. We just needed to cover what we covered there. And we're going to look at ton topon, place or space. Okay, so if you remember back to chapter 6, place should be, he mentions it here somewhere. Time, speech, surface, body. Come on, I've spotted everything except place. There it is. Topos, right? Kai topos. Chronos kai topos. We're finally going to have a look at it now. Okay, it's been patient, waiting patiently. Now it's our time to treat it. So melista dehe enantiotes tu posu. Periton topon dokai hyparkain. So contrary, or like contrariness, seems to mostly underlie, place. Okay, so that's our topic today. Ton topon, place. All right, or space. Okay, in this context, we definitely want to think about. We definitely want to use the word space more because space has that mathematical sense, scientific too, but mathematical sense for us when we go to school and we go to math classes and whatnot. Space is the word that we use when we're looking at distances and all those sorts of things and position. Okay, so we want to use that word. Okay, space. I'm not talking about space as in the place with the stars and things like that. I'm using more of that mathematical sense, okay? Togar ano toi kato enantion tithiasi ten proston meson koran kato legontes diato pleistein toi mesoi diastasin prosta perata tu cosmu ainai. It's a long sentence, so we'll take it bit by bit. This first part here, let me get the pen. This first part here, togarano toi kato enantion titiasi, is speaking about above and below. Enantion, contraries. So it can be posited that these, above and below, are contraries. Ten prosto meson, middle, koran, of an area, of a space. Kato legontes diato pleistein, toi mesoi diastasin. So he's talking about the distance from the middle, the greatest, okay, is but like below. So you've got this point in the middle, okay, wherever it is, that's the point. And the greatest distance down here we say is like the bottom, and the greatest distance away from on the other end can be considered the top. Okay, and these are contrary to each other, okay, because they're on other sides, they're on opposite ends, opposite extremes. All right, let's continue. Ten prosto meson koran kato legontes. Legontes is like speech, things that are said, okay, things that are commonly spoken of. Diato pleistein toi mesoi diastasin prosta perata tu cosmu ainai. Now, I don't know if there's anyone in here, or when I mean in here, listening to this that reads Xenophon in the Attic Greek, but ta perata, he means extremes here, but doesn't it sound like wings? Doesn't it sound like he's speaking about wings, like wings of an army? Anyway, ta perata tu cosmo, and it sounds like he's saying the wings of the cosmos, which is pretty cool, pretty poetic. But he definitely means the extremes of the cosmos. Especially in Euclid, in the original Greek for Euclid, I think he uses berata for, it's been so many years since I read it, berata for the like edges. Okay, so if this was the center of the cosmos and it was Earth, okay, let's say it was some Earth-centric model, you'd have Earth here, and you would have, which it was the model he was using, okay, and this is below, this is kato, I'm not going to try right with this, and this is ano, okay, this is ano, and these two are contrary, from the middle. Now, of course, we know that the Earth is not the center of the cosmos or the universe. It might be when it comes to rationality and importance and value, but that's a different conversation altogether. We are speaking, we can adapt this and say, let's imagine that the planet was the middle of the universe, right? Wherever you are in the universe is the middle of the universe. Let's say that, okay? You're the center of the galaxy. You're the center of the universe. Whatever is the most distant from you, above your head and beneath your feet, in those directions, is below and above. Okay, let's just keep it simple like that. We don't need to be bothered too much about what's really the case, because even the scientists who know that sort of stuff, they argue about it so much. I've tried to get a concrete answer about this, or a clear answer about this, and I just keep finding that it's still theory stuff. It's not settled. There are so many different camps with different voices, so we'll keep it simple. We'll say wherever you are is the center, above your head is above, beneath your feet is below, and those are the extremes. Can you see how these are contraries though? Because, well, actually I'll let him explain it. This is in English, we don't have E-O-I, right? So give me a little bit of a break. Eoi kasi. There we go. There it is. Eoi kasi. De kaiton alon enantion horismo napo tuton epipherein. Epipherein, carry away, derive. What are we deriving? Epipherein. The horismon, the definition. So from these things we get the definition. We seem to get the definition. Definition of what? Definition of what? Of contraries itself, right? We gain the definition of contraries itself from this example that I keep going on about. We get the definition. Let's see. Let's piece this together, right? Don alon enantion, right? Of the other contraries, we get the definition. Dagar pleiston alelon. Dies de gota. Don en toi autui genai enantion horizontai. Now that's not supposed to say horizon like our English word, like where the sun comes up, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? This is to do with defining things, okay? Finding the definitions of things. So in the same genus, donen toi autoi genai, in the same genus of things, that which has those things which have the greatest distance, which are most greatly separated or distance from one another, are those things which are contraries in the same genus, right? So what does that mean? So say here you've got this is the genus of animal right here. Use green because that makes more sense. This is a genus of animal right there. That's the middle, and that's opposite ends, okay, of the genus animal. In the middle, you would have some animal which perfectly encapsulates, or which seems to have a little bit of everything in a sense. So, not in the sense of percentage-wise, but we mean has the capacities of so much. So let's say it's man. Actually, you know what? I don't think man's a good one for that. I don't know exactly what would be in the center of animal. I know it would be in the center for creature. but not for animal. But anyway, this animal here, and we might say like a tiny bacteria, if that's a type of animal, is over here, okay, bacteria, and the most complex animal is over here. So let's say humans are over here. We are the opposite of bacteria. And then there's something in the middle between us and bacteria. What would be between us and bacteria? Let's just say, I'm not trying to be true here. I'm just trying to be as true as possible. I'm going to say some sort of fish thing. Some sort of sea animal. I'm not a biologist, clearly. Human, bacteria, what would be in the middle? I'm sure there's a good answer that's popped into your head, but not for me. Some sea animal. All right, I'm just going to say the first one. I'm just going to say horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crab. HSC. That's what actually high school certificate. That's in Australia. We sit that for our Year 12 test, the HSC, and it defines what courses you can enter when you leave high school. Fun fact. So on the opposite ends of the middle is where you find contraries in this, but notice how it's in the same genus. It's not in different genera. Okay, that would break it. It's speaking only about the same genus. And doi au doi genai. So for creature, it would be human. Human beings would be in the center for creatures, because we would have angels on one side. Not that they're greater than us, but because they represent an extreme of creature, which is a bodiless creature. And on the other end, you would have like, if you define anything created as a creature, then you could probably say rock. But I wouldn't put rock. I would put something that's bodily, but entirely bodily and alive as well. So I would put like some form of moss. Or actually, moss can be quite complex. I would put like the most basic sort of fungus that you can think of. I would put there, and then you would have angel on the other side, and we are the center of all creatures. Okay, because we have body, we have spirit, soul, will. Okay, these don't have any will or spirit. Or if they do, they have the least amount of it. These are entirely will and spirit, but have no body, and we are in the middle. Okay, but more on that at another time. Probably leave it there actually, because this is just one complete thought. Okay, and if you were troubled by contraries in the last lesson, hopefully this has helped you. Hey, anandiotes. The contrariness. We've spoken about the contrariness. And what does it seem to underlie most? It is place, space. Okay? So of all these different quantities, tu posu, of the quantities, place seems to have it the most. So didn't really need the art this lesson. I sort of drew my own, which I'm sure you enjoyed so much. And yeah, so in place, above and below their contraries, and is eastward and westward contraries? You can say so for sure, and we'll leave it there. Okay, so thank you for listening. As always, si semper fortis in opere tuo, and I'll see you next time.